wherever you're watching from. And here in London today, it is 5:45. Thank you so much to all the viewers that are watching us here today. And today we've got a very serious topic here. And for that reason, I'm going to be taking off my glasses. But wherever you're watching us from, it's your one and only African Wonder Woman. Welcome to JNM 1000 Talk Show. And today's topic is absolutely in my heart because I've got a very special guest here today who is going to be bringing us a wonderful topic. And our topic today is how to be free from abuse and generate relationship wealth. I repeat, for the viewers out here today, it is how to be free from abuse and generate relationship wealth. Welcome here to the studio, and our guest here today is Jacqueline Francis. Welcome to my show.
Thank you very much for having me, Juliet.
Thank you so much. And I'm absolutely delighted to welcome you to this stage as well, because I'd like to appreciate the technicians as well, Heritage TV. And if you'd like to come to my show, it's 077 423 84052. If you'd also like to hire this studio, the number to call is 020 800 46 100. And we are always asking for your likes. And of course, the one and only African Wonder Woman. Bring it right down here again, right all the way from London, as we watch this evening here in London, is how to be free from abuse and generate relationship wealth. This topic is absolutely special in my heart. You know, when I think about relationship and good relationship and what is abuse, I want us to explore, is there a difference between abuse and violence, and how do people take abuse in our community? And that is why I've got this special guest, Jacqueline Francis, who is an author, speaker, and personal relationship educator. Once again, thank you. So I'm going to be starting off by asking you a few questions. Mm-hmm. And our first question here today is, what is abuse?
Well, many people will define abuse as abuse with an intimate partner that happens on a regular basis. Mm-hmm. So if someone is verbally abusing you or physically abusing you regularly within your relationship, then that is what mm-hmm. abuse is.
And do you find it that people sometimes just think that abuse is physical, like just, violence? How do you think? How can we educate our community really and go deep and explain to people what really abuse is?
Right, okay. Well, I think first and foremost, mm-hmm. I think we need to encourage people to use the term domestic abuse mm-hmm. rather than domestic violence, mm-hmm. because when you use the term violence, there's this myth that people just see this woman or even a man mm-hmm. huddled in a corner with bruises being beaten, mm-hmm. and that's generally not the case, because mm-hmm. When we say the word abuse, then we know that we can encompass all the other things that like, say, for example, financial or emotional abuse, mm-hmm.
As
well as physical abuse. So if we encapsulate all those other things mm-hmm. under one title, mm-hmm.
Domestic
abuse rather than domestic violence, mm-hmm. will make things clearer for people to understand.
And within our community, you think, how do your work as a relationship educator, what do you think our community takes abuse like? Do they fully understand what is abuse?
No, I don't think so. I think it's sort of like a fine line. Yeah. The lines are sort of blurred,
yeah.
And you can be in a relationship and it can be abusive, mm-hmm. but because you don't know, if it's not physical and it's more coercive mm-hmm. or controlling behaviour, you wouldn't know mm-hmm. that it's abuse.
Yeah.
One might just take it for granted that, okay, that's how my partner is, and you've settled for that,
mm-hmm.
you've accepted that, but in actual fact it's control. It may be controlling or coercive behaviour that's happening.
And tell us more about what coercive behaviour is all about.
Right, okay. So in 2015, mm-hmm. it became a criminal offence for coercive control, really. It was introduced in 2015 simply because there are different types of coercive and controlling behaviour that people may not recognise, and it may be happening, but you can't prove it because it's not visible, and it's also known as the invisible abuse.
Right.
So it could be something, for example, financial control, where your partner, bearing in mind this could be a male or a female, takes control of your finances. So, for example, you may be going out to work, but your wages may get put into their bank account or something like that, or they may take out loans in your name unbeknown to you, or they may, just give you an allowance that you can spend each week, and obviously you have to be accountable for how much you're spending.
Right.
It could be something like emotional or psychological abuse. Whereby, and this is what they're saying, it could be name calling or being intimidated, or things along those lines where you don't. It's something that you feel rather than it being visible. So do you find that people don't really understand, especially maybe the BME community? Maybe they just think about the violence and that's all they think about, but they really don't know coercive behavior. Their implication is also financial abuse, emotional abuse, discrimination abuse. Do you find that that is really disturbing sometimes and all that kind of stuff? It is. I mean, I've spoken to many women who they have not been physically abused, but they have been coerced or been in a controlling relationship. But they don't know that they are, because there is a fine line. And again, I go back to the fact that, well, maybe that's, they've sort of like, well, I'm not saying that they've made excuses, but they probably think that that's their partner's personality and that they have accepted it, and so they have learnt to live with it or to work with it. But in actual fact, they are, if your liberty's been taken away from you, or you can't express yourself freely, and that's happening continuously, then that's abuse, isn't it? It's controlling behaviour.
Controlling behaviour. So you've had it, controlling behaviour. And if you're just joining us from whichever part of the country you're joining us in, today we're talking about how to be free from abuse and generate relationship well. And our guest here today is absolutely wonderful. She is Jacqueline Francis, who is an author, speaker, and also personal relationship educator. So if you're just joining us in, we welcome you to our program. The number to call in to ask questions is 020 800 46 100. And if you'd like to come to my show, the number to call is 077 423 84052. So we're talking about coercive behavior and what this is really about. You're hearing that in 2015 it became a law. I don't even think many people know about this. But what led to the government? Would you know what led to the government to bring such a law? Is it because... and what's the statistics as well?
I mean, for domestic abuse, the statistics are saying 1 in 4 women, and for men it's 1 in 6 men. But I think it became a criminal offence because there are a lot of women out there and men who were not physically being abused, but they were being controlled. Again, I think maybe finance might be one of them that's more prevalent. And the financial control, and the emotional side of things, and if they have children, the partner might try to threaten to take the child away from you, from them, or if something happened and it's hurt you, then your partner might think, well, may deny that it's happened, or minimize what has happened, but it's the way that it's made you feel that has led you into this maybe a depressive state. And there are a lot of people out there that are in that situation, but there was nowhere for them to go. So I guess that's why that came into force in 2015.
2015, and thank you so much to the government of United Kingdom for bringing that as a law. We really appreciate you. So many people should know that we're bringing awareness here today. If you're in any coercive behavior, we're hearing about what coercive behavior is all about today. And someone who is taking us through is a relationship educator. So thanks again for helping us to explore this wider topic. And my other question is, how do you think this really affects our daily lives? You know, as you were just explaining, depressive, mental health. What more do you see? You know, for years. You know, what more do you see in terms of environment?
I mean, you know, as you mentioned your mental health, your well-being. You know, because this has a detrimental impact on your well-being. Some people don't have the resilience to fight against it. So there's a downward spiral. It's, you know, and it's normally the women that have to either leave the household or leave the situation and trying to find space to bring up their children without the partner finding them. You know, it's quite detrimental, really. It has a huge impact, and again, not just on the mother or the father, but also on the children as well. So
we're talking about a very serious subject here today, and you know, without good relationships as well, we're going to be coming to what family abuse is all about, and I want you to listen to her story as well. So before that, thank you so much, every single person. I can see people from Nigeria, I can see people watching us from Kenya. Many, many thanks for logging in. I love you all, and I will soon be greeting you. To tell you more about Jacqueline Francis, she is an award-winning author. She's also a speaker and also a personal relationship educator. She's also a contributing author in two anthology, which is, of course, we've got one of the books here today, The Blind Spot, as you can see. And of course, this is The Blind Spot, What the Eyes Didn't See, Volume 1, which is what I've just shown you, and Mind Your Mother Tongue. She was also awarded the Best Author of the Year 2019 and her debut novella work. Congratulations for that. Thank you so much. Quick Run, Quick Buy, International Women Forum. We love you, International Women Forum. And of course, Diva of Colors. Walk Quiet and Run Quickly is a gripping story based around issues of domestic abuse. It portrays the story of how to survive, escape, and to find the strength to move forward without looking back from a relationship. It is written to create awareness, educate, and empower women and young adults. She'll be telling us about that. Moreover, her aim is to initiate and campaign to raise awareness about domestic abuse, which includes passive control, to recognize that perpetrators can also be members of your family or the family. Jacqueline's book, Walk Quiet, Run Quickly, has been featured in Amour magazine. Thank you so much, Amour magazine, for that. UK. She has also written an article highlighting her top 10 tips for writing a novel. In Female Fast Lifestyle magazine, Jacqueline is currently writing her second book, The Relationship Jigsaw, and 8 Pieces for a Healthy, Happy Relationship. Her book is due to be released in the spring of 2020, and I hope that she'll come back to us to tell us more about her book. And tell us about your book and how it came into being.
Okay, so
this one.
Okay. So this is my debut novella, Walk Quiet, Run Quick. And the reason why I wrote this book is because I shared, I supported women who were survivors of abuse in a refuge. Not ideally, but I had gone there to support, because I'm a former teacher, so I went there to help some of them to improve their English. And I realized that they were not in that space to do so, and they needed more emotional support. So when I was asked to write a book, I thought, okay, well, what can I write about? So I thought I'd write about how easy it can be when you're in a relationship that it can end up being abusive.
Yes.
Because remember, abuse does not discriminate.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what colour you are, whether you're working, unemployed, it doesn't matter. It can happen to anybody.
Yes.
So Walk Quiet Run Quick, it's about a woman,
Yes.
Middle class, professional, entrepreneur,
Right.
but she's very insecure because her backstory is that her mother gave her up for adoption. So that left her feeling insecure and she wanted to be loved.
Right.
So she ended up falling for this tall, dark, handsome guy, butter wouldn't melt in his mouth, and that's how normally they come, and the rest is sort of like history. You'll have to buy the book to find out what happens in the end. But it's just to say, well, it can happen to anybody, and also the different types of abuse that can take place.
So this was sort of fictional.
It is.
Started with this one. It wasn't, and then that's what really inspired you when you were working with these sort of like refugees and people coming in when you were a teacher.
Yeah.
And then you were just sort of inspired to listen to their story. When you saw that there was loads of domestic, maybe abuse, you were inspired to write their stories, or something just picked on you to see the kind of support, emotional support that the women who are coming in, which you noticed. And tell us about how long it took you, because I know when I first talked to you, you talked about the confidence it needed you to talk to them because they came from different backgrounds.
Yeah.
How was that for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think because I teach, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and when you teach, you have to have a degree of patience.
Absolutely.
And especially when you're teaching a class that doesn't speak any English whatsoever. So, that's where my patience comes into play. So, I can't force this person that I'm trying to support to, provide this information. They have to be comfortable with me. So it would take many weeks before I found, or that they were comfortable with me and were able to share their story. And I remember one particular young girl. She was a young girl actually, 2 children. She was very smiley. She was always smiling. And she was saying, she doesn't need any support or anything like that because she has her friends. But that smile was to hide what she was feeling. Do you know what I mean? So after a while, she was able to open up to me, to trust me, in order to share with me her story.
Right. And thanks for the work that you've been doing with many, many women. I really am grateful to meet this wonderful lady, Jacqueline Francis. I love what you're doing, and thank you for that. As you're still watching, our guest here today is Jacqueline Francis. She's, of course, talking about how to be free from abuse and generate relationship wealth for those who are joining in. And thank you so much to those people who are joining from Canada and United States. Many, many thanks. Your one and only African Wonder Woman. If you'd like to come to this show, the number to call is 077 423 84052. And we'd like to thank Olori and, of course, Heritage TV. The number to call on studio here today, if you'd like to ask a question, is 020 800 46 100. As we take our break, please come back in about 1 minute, and I thank you for watching.
But Heritage TV. La 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 la. Heritage TV.
Everybody in London, have you heard that Heritage Television has come up with something new? All your functions and celebrations can now be multi-camera live stream. That was only reserved for the rich and famous. Having a function in London can be viewed clean and clear immediately from any part of the world. Trust Heritage TV to give you a better reach. Heritage Television also does photography that will make you the envy of all your friends and family. Heritage Television is the best. All your functions like birthdays, funerals, weddings, church anniversaries or harvest. Heritage Television is the master. We are in the heart of London with an ultra-modern equipped studio. You can call us on 020-800-46100 or email us info@heritagetv.co.uk or mobile 0734 1234 560. Heritage Television will do you proud.
And welcome back, and thank you so much for watching. And just to let you know, I am going to be Saturday on the 7th. Thank you so much to Author Janelle. We love you. And if you've not bought your ticket as well, Tobago and Trinidad is inviting you to the Legends Award. We thank you, the community, and I'm told they're welcoming all of us. So if you haven't bought your ticket, I will be right there. And many thanks for giving me this Legend Award. I really appreciate it. I love you all. And for those children who are dancing the Merry Christmas, I love you all. Christmas is all about children. With me here today at JNM 1000 Talk Show is absolutely the community program. We educate, community awareness, we bring it live, real, we don't mess around. And I tell you what, if you'd like to be on this studio, the number to call is 077 423 84052. And with me here today, if you're just joining in from wherever part of the world you're coming from, I've got a special guest again. Her name is Jacqueline Francis, and thank you once again for agreeing to join us here today. Just before break, we were talking about coercive behavior, and she was telling us about the government and what the government did. So in 2015, it was made law. So I was just thinking about family abuse and. Tell us a little bit about family abuse and how it shapes us. And if, you know, some people experience family abuse, and how do we recognize things like that?
Yeah, I mean, as I said to you before, sometimes coercive control is difficult to recognize. For me personally, I have been emotionally and psychologically abused.
Tell us more about this situation. And what it was like?
Well, I mean, I have two siblings.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, I'm the middle one, and I have, well, obviously an older one and a younger one. And growing up, as far as I was aware, we were fine, we got on well. But I believe it was in our adult years, as I started to climb the social ladder, so to speak, or the economic ladder. Then things sort of began to change. Their behaviour towards me started to change, and you may ask, well, how did it change? They stopped sort of like talking to me or inviting me to family events or anything like that, saying, well, what's the point, you don't come anyway.
And how did that feel for you?
I mean, at the time, I wasn't particularly bothered, because the reasons why I didn't attend those family events were valid reasons. I have children. Do you know what I mean? And those were the reasons why I wasn't able to attend all those events. I mean, of course I went when I could, but it wasn't something that appealed to me. But I think also because I bought my first property when I was in my 20s, my early 20s, and I had two children. I was a single parent, but then I don't know whether it's foolishly or not. At the time, maybe it was foolish. I gave up full-time work to go to university. So I'm the only graduate in my family. So again, that's another thing that maybe they didn't like me doing, I don't know. But as time went on,
Yeah.
you know, I found that I was being less integrated within the family, and I suspected there was something wrong, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it.
Right.
And I say this simply because we don't, you know, we're adults, we live separately, we don't live together, so it was sort of difficult.
So I'm just trying to get, did you feel isolated from the family, sort of like?
Well,
I'm trying to, just for the viewers out
Yeah.
there, to sort of like, you know, just to relate to them. And here
Yeah.
today, she's just sharing this story and how it felt for her. So there was no right or wrong, but she's just sharing her personal story and what it meant to her. So we don't judge here, but in essence of educating other families and other communities, Jacqueline has agreed to share her personal life story to us in order to re-educate or to bring essence of what she was looking for. If
Yeah.
I put it like that.
Yeah, that's fine,
Okay,
that's
yeah.
fine.
So yeah, you were saying.
Yeah, I mean, the isolation, put it this way, it got to a point where when I confronted my siblings as to, you know, what's going on, why aren't you talking to me, hoping to get this, you know, hoping for them to explain, they didn't. So I left there thinking, you know, well, what did I do wrong? Was it my fault? Should I have done more? You know, why have they stopped talking to me? But realizing that I wasn't going to get those answers, but still persisting until I realized, you know, hold on a minute, you know, I've been rejected. They're able to live life without me. They have ostracized me, you know, and if you look up the term ostracize, I mean, that's just, you know, when you send someone to solitary confinement or something like that, you've ostracized them from your life, you know. So I became estranged from them, thinking that I'm the one that's going to estrange myself, but they had already done that, and I needed to take myself away from them because it was affecting my well-being.
Yes. And you felt depressed at that time?
Yeah, of course, yes.
You felt distanced?
Yeah, absolutely.
You were quite constantly feeling what exactly is going on? Is that
Yeah,
what you-
yeah, because
So is
there
that
came a
feelings?
point where you're sort of questioning
Yeah.
and you're not getting any answers. And I found myself in this sort of like downward spiral, so to speak.
Did you
where
ever speak to them? To you?
I tried, yeah, I did try, but it wasn't forthcoming. And again, the blame was put on myself, or, you know, minimizing what was actually happening. Again, that's, you know, comes under the coercive, the controlling behavior, so to speak. You know, crying every day, and, you know, I could be watching TV and then I'm crying, but I don't know why I'm crying, or I, you know, if I'm in the shower, you know, I'm crying, you know, why am I crying? And not wanting to get out of bed, not wanting to shift the curtains, you know, what is my purpose? You know, if I'm not good enough.
How many years did that take?
Oh my goodness.
Roughly, if you don't mind.
It may have taken longer than I'm going to say that it did,
Yeah.
because it was slowly happening. You don't know that it's happening. So I would say maybe about 2 years, if that. Do you know what I mean? But it was happening, but I couldn't see that it was happening. If that makes sense. Because, I mean, the last thing I would have expected was for my siblings to sort of like turn against me. And every time I tried to get back into the fold of things, meaning, you know, attend family events or attend Christmas, I was invisible. I wasn't acknowledged.
Yeah.
I felt as if I wasn't acknowledged. You know, but I'm trying to get back in there. But year on year, they're inviting me until one day, to protect myself, I had to say no, that I can't go because of my emotional well-being, for my physical well-being. It was becoming apparent that they had no intention of bringing me back into the family.
Okay. And thank you so much for feeling confident to share this.
Yeah.
And I was just wondering, are you out there and you feel sort of like your family has rejected you? How do you deal with those moments? Are you out there and sometimes you're just like feeling very isolated because you feel that your family does not understand you? How do you deal with that? We're talking about that here today. Does that generate someone that I'm talking here to today. If that person is you, please do call us on 020-800 46 100, 020-800 46 100. If you feel in any situation that your family is rejecting you and you just feel that you have to constantly work extra hard, I'm talking to that person. How do those family members feel like? Are you one of those people who constantly battle your siblings? Are you one of those family members who constantly will sort of like go against your family siblings, and you constantly perhaps telling lies and making out things that are not real to those other siblings? Tell us about the black sheep of the family and how that felt for you.
I don't even like to use the term black sheep of the family, but I guess other people would say, yes, that she's the black sheep of the family, and it's not a nice label to have, because growing up and, you know, whatever I did, I tried to involve my sisters or provide them with the information for them to do what needed to be done for them to be happy. But it's, you know,
so did you find yourself constantly trying to do things to please the other family members, and there was sort of like no balance? Is that?
Yeah, I was fighting a losing battle because their mind had already been made up. I think the fact that, I mean, I was talking to a psychotherapist and she was saying, well, you know, if I, unbeknown to me, had gone against their values and beliefs, whatever those values and beliefs were, I had gone against it. So my punishment, so to speak, was to be ostracized, rejected from the family. That was their power. They were able to do that. So it didn't matter how hard I was fighting to get back in there. They had the power. They had the control. They were the one who would let me in or not, and they chose not to.
And this is a personal question. Did you feel love? You know, did you always love your family? Even while, how did you, you know, how can you, you know, sometimes balance that word love? And I'm asking this because I would like to help many more families.
Yeah, I mean, initially you feel anger, but at the end of the day, they're my sisters, and I love my sisters.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? And at some point you're going to have, but for me, in order for my well-being, I had to forgive their actions towards me.
And tell us about forgiveness. How did you find forgiveness?
Well, I wouldn't say that I was a spiritual person,
Right.
but it was spiritual, because in order for me, I was shackled. I was imprisoned in these emotions, the anger, the fear, the anxiety, the depression. It was beginning to be part of me, and I didn't want that. So I was stuck. I couldn't move forward, but I couldn't stay stuck in that situation. I had children. Do you know what I mean? I had things to do, things that I wanted to do. You know, so how do I move on? How do I move forward?
Yes.
And in order for me to do that, I had to forgive.
Yes.
And that's what I've written in the book there. I wrote a letter to my sisters, telling them that I forgive them.
Right. Do you want to read to us
what
you sort of like wrote on your book? And tell us about this book. And thank you so much, Sonia, and all the ladies that wrote this book. Read the letter that you wrote to your loved ones.
Wow, gosh, I haven't read this in ages.
I know. Just read about this, and that was something that she put in the book.
Yeah, okay. In order for me to overcome, you know, to get through what I was going through, I had to forgive. So I wrote, I hope this letter finds you both well. I know we haven't had the best of years, so I'm glad we took the decision to start building bridges. But I have so many questions to ask. Where did it all go wrong? There was no sibling rivalry, so where did this resentment towards me come from? Did it ever occur to you how your treatment towards me made me feel? Or didn't you care? Was it a decision you made individually or together? I was blindsided. I didn't think my own sisters could be jealous or envious of me for living my life. Do you want me to? Oh. Remember when we were children, when we thought we were that trio singing group, Brown Sugar? We performed in front of the mirror singing our reggae music. Ironically, the first line was, "We three are sisters of love." or when we pretended to be the 3 degrees with our synchronized dancing, LOL. I was the rebellious one as a child and a teenager, willing to take chances, hoping not to get caught. Do you recall when I was about 14 or 15, I sneaked out of the house to go to a birthday party, only I forgot my key and I had to ring the bell. It must have been about 2 o'clock in the morning. Daddy answered the door. I ran past him up the stairs into the bedroom. The next minute, my mummy came in raising hell, threatening to dash water on me and call social services because she'd had enough. I told her to go on then, trying to be, go on then. She kissed her teeth and walked out. I started laughing. Next minute, the door flung open and Mummy came in with a pot of cold water and threw it in my face. And then one of my sisters started laughing hysterically under the covers. Anyway, before we start building those bridges, I wanted to tell you that I know that this was never about the tone of my voice or not attending family events, because it wasn't, the fact that I hadn't attended family events that you stopped talking to me, This was about the limitations you placed on yourselves. This was about the choices that you both failed to make. This was about your insecurities that you wanted to lay at my door. You both sat back and wished for things but never made them happen. With that said, I make no apologies for the choices I made for me and my children, and the choices I will continue to make. I am so glad that our children did not get caught up in this and still remain close cousins. But you know what? I hold no malice towards you for the last 20 years. If you take anything from my letter, my message to you is to start living your life. We are all limitless in what we can achieve. Write on those blank pages and keep them turning until you've written your book. Be happy.
Oh, thank you so much. And that's page 73 of the book that she wrote to her sisters. And thanks for sharing that to us. And when you were writing that, how did that feel to you?
Oh, it was powerful. It was powerful. I mean, I can't I'll try, describe it. The emotions, I found as I'm writing, tears. I was blinded by the tears as I'm writing because I'm having happy memories. And all of a sudden those memories, I can't make any more memories with them unless, at some time in the future, we can rekindle our sistership. But it was sad. It was sad that it had come to this. And I don't think that my parents actually knew what was happening, because they didn't live in this country. They didn't know what was happening, and it became predominantly worse once my parents had passed.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Tell us about those moments.
They were dark moments, as I said. Asking the question why. But then after a while, you've got to stop asking those questions because you knew you were going to get those answers. I felt angry. I wanted answers. I didn't understand, did one person say it, one sister say it, and the other one jumped on board, or did they collude together? That's why I asked in the question, did they collude together? And it was more my younger sister that was the spokesperson, which was interesting because the actions were more of my older sister, but she never said a word. And then when I tried mediation, this is how desperate that I wanted the relationship to be fixed.
And what would you tell other people facing similar situation to do? What would be your advice? Like you say, you moved on and you learned how to cope. But apart from that, therapy. But what would you advise other people to do if they feel like they're in a family abuse relationship? How should they remove themselves from that situation?
I mean, in order to maintain your emotional well-being, and that's what the subject is about. Relationship wealth, you have to build resilience. How do you come back from what's happened to you if you know that you've tried everything and nothing has worked? You can't stay stuck waiting for that. You have to build resilience. I built resilience. I started to journal, but that wasn't difficult for me because I've been journaling since 1998.
And from a background of teaching, you already knew how to do that.
So I was constantly writing, and then I started meditating. Again, I said I wasn't really a spiritual person, but you know, to sit still and reflect and just be still with myself. And also to, you know, where did I want to go? How, you know, where was my journey going to take me? If I didn't move forward, if I wanted to move forward, what did I have to do? You know, you've got to try to build resilience to bounce back. It's like an elastic band, you know, you stretch it so far, you know, and sometimes it breaks, and that's when people go down into depression or something like that. But if it springs back, then, you know, you're building up your resilience.
Yes.
You know.
And thanks as well again for sharing this story with us. We really appreciate this. To be brave and sharing something like that takes a brave person to come up and tell us what was happening. Tell us about stigma. How does that impact if you feel like you shared? Sometimes do you worry about how your sisters take this, or did you have to learn how to cope with your siblings? How do you feel about that?
I think by that time, I wasn't particularly concerned as to how my siblings were feeling.
Right.
And maybe because I was angry, did they know how they made me feel?
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Right.
I did have people, mainly I guess the elders, saying, you know, you can't say that about your sisters, you shouldn't go openly and say that, you know, the black community, you
The
know,
BME community.
yes, you know, you're not supposed to air your dirty laundry in public, so to speak, you know. But for me, I was in pain, and the only way that I was going to release this pain was to write about it, was to talk about it. I had friends who didn't believe me and were blaming me, saying, but your sisters, you know, you should be the one, I can remember that, you should be the one that's making amends. And I tried, I was fighting against trying to tell them, well, if they don't want to talk to me, what do you want me to do? Do you know what I mean? Because they have to be receptive too. And
so we're talking about this kind of relationship in many families. And I know many people across Africa, across Asia, you have issues with family members, and it's real. And sometimes you're not able to express, and sometimes you're always blamed. What is the blame factor in that family? I'm not going to judge anyone, but let us try and look into these issues. Here today again, thank you so much, Jacqueline, for helping us explore this issue. Just before that, I would like to honor the life of a young man, Randy, all the way from Kenya, who lost his life due to knife crime. And we've lost a child, and I would love to invite every single person in the community to join hands for Randy Mugo, who was knifed and fell a victim of the knife and gun crime here in London. Memories, and we'll always love you, Randy Mugo. August 04, 1992, he was born, and he passed on in November 23rd, 2019. Memorial service is Revival House on the Sunday, 8th of December 2019. That is 500 High Street North in Mano Park, and the service is going to be starting from 4 o'clock until 8 or 9 o'clock. London E12 6ON. I'd like us to remember that family. Mama Randy Mugo, we love you, and we know about what happened here in London. Children, please stop your knife and gun crime. We really want you to talk to us grown-ups. And for Randy, please, if you're around on the 8th of December, we take minute silence. And I tell you what, that was really shocking what happened on that day. So a children's party or youth party, and you end up with a death. No, children, stop the knife crime as well. And I will say that many, many times to that. As we come back here today, I'm talking to my guest here today, Jacqueline Francis, who is telling us about what she went through And we are talking about family abuse and what it really means. And thanks again for being brave enough to share your story
You're welcome.
to us. Also, another announcement here today, 12th of December, you know about the 12th of December, United Kingdom, if you've registered to vote, make sure we vote. Let us all vote for lovely leaders. Here, I love you to all vote if you've registered to vote on the 12th of December 2019, UK time from 7 a.m. until 10 p.m. Let us vote for our MPs. On that, I'm going to ring a bell for that because we have to vote. I don't want to hear a situation where you're saying, oh, I don't know my political leaders. These leaders represent us. Please ensure you vote and ensure that we vote for the right leaders that also are helping us. And especially for myself, being from the African background, I'm asking questions. And of course, I read all their manifestos. And I want leaders who also represent us and are also including the Black communities, the Asian communities. Inclusion is in my heart. Let us fight social injustices. I want us to put all the questions to the MP. Vote wisely, I say. On that date again, 12th of December, from 7 a.m., your polling stations are all open. If you don't know your polling station, please call your council. Thank you so much again, Jacqueline. Tell us about how you all came together. You know, I can, before that, I will appreciate every single person who has written this book, Blind Spot, What the Eyes Didn't See, Volume 1, a collection of 16 life-changing stories that can impact your life. And on that note, I'm going to mention a friend of mine as well and colleague, Tonya Maka, Crystal Kerry, who first told me about this book, and of course mentioned Sonia Pauline. So this book has been written by Ansa Akbong, Claudine Diane Bowerbank, Debbie Roberts, Donna Cadell, Jacqueline Francis, who we've got right here in front of us here today, Janet Blair, Lara Alau, Martina Barnett, Ruby Antoinette Pauline, Tanganyika, Tonya Maka, Crystal Carroll, Tracy J. Reed, Valerie A. Campbell, Valerie Kudjo, Wendell Donaldson, and of course, Sonia Pauline, who brought it all together from Colorful Radio TV radio show. Tell us how you got involved in this book.
I got involved, I was actually wanting to get my story out there,
Right.
and I was actually following Sonia, who's the compiler of The Blind Spot, and she put up something on Instagram,
Right.
looking for co-authors. She wants to write a book.
Yes.
You know, does anyone have a story? So I tried to get hold of her,
Yes.
and she wasn't following me at the time, but
Yeah.
I knew somebody that, you know, knew her and got in contact with them, and then
Yes.
they got in contact with her.
Right.
And I told her about my story and would it be something that she'd be interested in, you know, for the book. And she said, yes, of course. So when she said, you know, gave me the red light, then I said, okay, the green light, I should say, you know, then I said, okay, then I'll write my story. So, yeah.
And that's how you got it.
Yeah, yeah.
And Sonia, we thank you for the work that you're doing, breaking the silence of abuse to all women, and also creating that awareness. And thanks as well for creating that awareness. As we come back into forgiveness, when you found forgiveness in your heart, did you just like feel? How did that feel?
Oh my gosh, Juliet.
Yes.
What can I say? It was so empowering. It was.
Yes.
I felt as if I was walking around with heavy bricks on my shoulders.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Trudging through, walking quite heavily.
Yes.
And then once I recognised, well, look, you know, in order for me and to protect my emotional well-being,
Yes.
I had to let go. I
Yes.
had to forgive.
Yes.
But then I was reading a book by Iana Van Zandt,
Okay.
and she talks about forgiveness.
Yes.
And she was saying that you have to forgive yourself.
Right.
I forgot to bring that, but to have to forgive yourself. And I'm thinking, well, why do I have to forgive myself? I haven't done anything wrong.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? But as I read, the book, I realised, yes, I have to forgive myself.
Tell the viewers again the book.
Jana Van Zandt is Forgiveness.
Okay.
And
we acknowledge that book as well here on studio as well. Thank you so much for that book.
Yeah. So she has different activities that can take place that you can do and stuff like that. But you've got to forgive yourself first and then forgive others, because it's pointless trying to fight against each other.
Right.
Because for me, if I stayed angry, I'm in that state.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? And it wasn't going to be conducive for me. So I knew that I had to forgive my siblings, hence, writing my letter, and journaling, and so that I can, purify myself.
Detox. And she's also got another book. She would love people to buy the book, which is this book over here.
Yeah.
If you haven't bought this book, it is, of course, Walk Quietly, Run Quick.
Walk Quiet, Run Quick.
Yes, and where can people buy this book? And if people would like to contact you,
Yeah, I mean, if you're interested in purchasing a copy of this book, you can go to my website, and you can get a signed copy of my website at info@jacqueline-francis.com.
Yes, and I'll put it down.
Yeah, www.jacqueline-francis.com. I've got so many things in my head. Or you can purchase a copy from Amazon.
Okay.
Waterstones, Barnes and Nobles. You can also purchase a copy. If you're not in the UK. So
And for those who are joining us here today, the number to call in is 020-800 46 100. If you'd like to come to my show, the number to call is 077 423 84052. If you're calling from abroad, it's +44 77 423 84052. And our guest here today, just a summary of our guest here today. Jacqueline is an award-winning author, speaker, and personal relationship educator. She's also a contributing author into anthology Blind Spot, the book that she's written with other people. What the Eyes Didn't See, that's volume 1. They're in the middle of writing another one. And Mind Your Mother Tongue. She was awarded Best Author of the Year 2019 for her debut novella, Walk Quiet, Run Quickly, by the International Women Forum. She's also been on Diva of Colors. I know that is Sister Fontaine, and of course her story is a gripping story based around issues of domestic abuse. It portrays a story of how to survive, escape, and to find the strength to move forward, as you've just been hearing us talking about this, without looking back from a relationship. It is written to create awareness, educate, and empower women and young adults. Moreover, her aim is to initiate and campaign to raise awareness about domestic abuse, which includes coercive control, and to recognize that perpetrators can also become members of your family. Jacqueline's book, Walk Quiet, Run Quick, has been featured in Amour magazine. We appreciate that magazine one more time. She has also written an article highlighting her top 10 tips of writing a novel in Female Fast Lifestyle magazine. Jacqueline is currently writing her second book, The Relationship Jigsaw, 8 Key Pieces for a Healthy, Happy Relationship. And her book is due to be released, and her new book will be released in spring 2020. For those who will be looking out for her, I will convince her to come back to our show. So we've got to wait until she comes back here. A book that she's also recommended for people to read, we want to acknowledge Dawn Hensey, and that's Steps to Freedom. And the book that she's recommending as well has another bestseller, second printing, Escaping Intimate Control. Thank you so much, Dawn Hennessy, is that right?
Yeah.
And what made you choose that book?
Okay, because I'm writing my second book, The Relationship Jigsaw.
Yeah.
you've got to do your research.
Yes, yes.
Do you know what I mean? And this one, Steps to Freedom, Escaping Intimate Control by Don Hennessy, came to my attention.
Right.
Simply because he's had, he's dealt with women who have suffered controlling behaviour for a number of years. And we're talking about abuse from men to women.
Yes.
So I felt, well, you know, let me get this book and see what he's saying. And it's really quite interesting because, you know, the way that I mean, it's too much to go into at the moment, but...
Pick a page that you really like and something that you really just...
Well, I found was quite profound, actually, when I was reading it. I haven't highlighted it here, was that your perpetrator has actually targeted you before you've even known it, before you even welcome them, before you even know them. Which was quite interesting because when I wrote my book, Walk Quiet, Run Quick, before I read this, and in this book, the fictional book, the perpetrator had already seen the main character before meeting her. So he's already made his target. He's sussed out how you are as a person, and then he's gone in there. You know, he may have preyed on your kindness or your vulnerability or something like that. But he also gives advice as to what to do to reverse abuse in relationships. And one of them is to stop listening to your abuser's message, because every time he's saying something, you're taking that on board. Do you know what I mean? So you need to learn to stop listening to that message, and when you take it on board, you're fueling the perpetrator. And the fact that when he criticizes you, you believe what they're saying. You know, his word is law, and that's when you become what's the word? That's when you feel as if you've lost control because you have allowed him or her to take your power. But ultimately, he's highlighting what a perpetrator looks like. Who are his targets?
You to And thanks for that. And just a quick one for teenagers. What is it like for teenagers, and how does that impact the young ones? Can you tell us just a quick?
I think for teenagers, I mean, teenagers are going into relationship much more earlier, you know, and they're very not volatile, but vulnerable, I should say. Do you know what I mean? You know, and I've come across young people who, at the age of 16, they were in abusive relationships, but at the time they didn't know that, unless obviously it was physical, you know. And how do they get out of that? They are being controlled by their boyfriends, who may even be part of a group that the boyfriend has to do something to the girlfriend to be initiated in some form or another. You know, I came across one woman who started off as a pillow fight. You know, pillow fight's supposed to be joyful, but it ended up being abusive. You know, so how do they get out of that? How do they recognise the signs? And I think with Walk Quiet, Run Quick, I had a review on it from a young person saying, yes, that's what my partner used to do to me. That's what my partner used to say to me. So, you know, if I can educate them, and you know, about what the warning signs are when you're young in a relationships, then, you know, you can educate yourself. You can empower yourself by making a decision to say, no, you know, you're not going to do that, or set your boundaries, as opposed to accepting everything that your partner says.
And how can people report abuse here in the United Kingdom?
Well, I mean, of course, Women's Aid is one of the national places that you can contact.
Thank you so much, Women Aid, for the work that you do, and also for providing safe havens.
Southall Black Sisters, and they're in Southall, and Domestic Violence UK.
And that's in every borough?
Well, I mean, there will be something in your borough, and if not, then obviously you just Google. And for men, there's also Mankind Initiative.
Thank you so much, Mankind Initiative.
And there will be men.
And tell us as well, earlier when I also interviewed you before, you told us different communities like LGBT also face violence.
Yeah.
And, also, you said avoid the word violence, but also abuse. Tell us, do you get to see a lot of communities from different communities seeing you? How that impacts? Is it the same or different?
Well, I guess every community is different. I mean, I can only speak for my community. I come from Ealing, and I spoke with my MP, as I mentioned to you before, and he said that most people that come into the surgery, his surgery, they're talking about how can they escape to an abusive relationship, or I'm being abused. Where do I go? What can I do? To help myself.
Yes.
So if you are, or you feel that you are in an abusive relationship, then please do seek help.
Do seek help. I will say that. Do seek help. Do not stay in abusive relationship. It is hard. Here, as I change my platform, whenever I'm in the government, I'm seeking help for the government. I'm always asking for women to be empowered, especially financially, because many women stay in abusive relationship because of financial situation they feel, and also many women will feel they don't have anywhere to go. So I'm playing with the government of United Kingdom to create opportunities, especially for women, and safe havens as well for men as well, and safe spaces where people can honestly speak about what is exactly happening. We've heard about mental health situation. We thank the government of United Kingdom for taking forefront steps. And wherever you're watching me from, Africa as well, I would like us to take the issues of gender-based violence seriously, the issues of rape. We see them, I see the stories, we call them different things. But let us think about these things very critically. We thank you for your story. We thank you for coming into the studio. Would love to see you back again within your new book. Tell us a little bit about your new book that is going to be coming forward.
Right, okay. So the new book is called The Relationship Jigsaw.
Okay.
8 key pieces to a healthy, happy relationship.
All right.
And one might ask, so people ask me, well, why do you call it the relationship jigsaw?
Yes.
And when you're in a relationship,
Yes.
and you have a jigsaw puzzle,
Yes.
if you relate the two, if something doesn't fit, you're trying to fit this piece of puzzle into, this activity or change this person,
Yes.
just as you would a jigsaw puzzle that doesn't fit,
Yes.
but you're trying to change this person. You want it to fit so you can complete the whole puzzle.
Yes.
So this book more or less talks more about what coercive control is and how it can manifest itself. And also what we as a society can do, because don't take this lightly. I'm sitting here and I'm talking and thinking it's easy if someone's in a relationship that it's going to be easy to get out of it. No, it's not.
easy.
But if you can educate yourself and have your toolkit,
Yes.
it will make things much easier.
Thank you. And I tell you what, it's always the African Wonder Woman, always creating awareness. Community education is right at my heart. African Wonder Woman, I'm blessed to have you on our show today. We would love to invite you back here. If you're watching, we thank every single person who has been watching here today. Heritage TV, Thomas, we love you. The number to call on the studio is 020-800 46-100. If you'd like to come to my show, the number to call is 077-423-84052. I repeat, that number again is 077-423-84052. 5th of December 2019. Thank you so much everyone who is watching us, and today we were talking about how to be free from abuse and generate relationship well. And our wonderful guest here has shared her personal story. It's a blessing to have somebody who comes in and bravely, for that matter, talks about matters of family abuse, which she strongly says that she had to come out. I mean, I just pray and, thoughtful. If you're in any situation like that, let us widely speak about it and say no to family abuse as well. And thanks for watching, every single person who is watching. Of course, I will remind every single person here in United Kingdom, we've got the elections coming in, and for me, I love the Stop Brexit campaign which fights about any social injustices, even for the other European and all the other EU citizens. I strongly support people to live well with each other. Hence the reason I have this here today. Is there something that you'd like to tell us just before we wrap up? Something that is really pushing you to just a quick summary of something that you'd like to tell the world?
Yeah, I mean, if no one should be suffering in silence, or no one should actually be going through abuse. Everyone has a right. We're all born equally. We have the right to live a life that we want to live, freely. If anyone is suffering in silence, then please do reach out. And also, please do educate yourself as to types of abuse that there are, because it doesn't just come in one form. It comes in several forms. And
if you've been affected by this program, please look into your council. They have got steps to follow of how you can get help. So in different councils, please Google into your different councils and check for help. And of course, Women Aid, as you say, you can get help from there. The number to call if you'd like assistance in this subject as well, you can call me on 077423 84052. And if people would like to get in touch with you, how can people get in touch with you with relationship and abuse?
Right, okay. So my website is www.jacqueline-francis.com, or email me at info@jacqueline-francis.com.
Thank you. Thank you so much to those watching from United Kingdom. I love you. Please create awareness, stop domestic violence, and of course, break the silence of abuse. I love you all. Until next week, your one and only African Wonder Woman. I tell you what, always lovely to join you. It's a good night from me here today. Help us stop domestic violence, and thank you so much to Heritage TV for airing this here today. It's a goodbye from us. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Heritage TV. La 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 la. Heritage TV.
Everybody in London, have you heard that Heritage Television has come up with something new? All your functions and celebrations can now be multi-camera live stream. That was only reserved for the rich and famous. Having a function in London can be viewed clean and clear immediately from any part of the world. Trust Heritage TV to give you a better reach. Heritage Television also does photography that will make you the envy of all your friends and family. Heritage Television is the best. All your functions like birthdays, funerals, weddings, church anniversaries or harvest. Heritage Television is the master. We are in the heart of London with an ultra-modern equipped studio. You can call us on 020-800-46100 or email us info@heritagetv.co.uk or mobile 0734 1234 560. Heritage Television will do you proud.
Come on. Happy James ló sọ wípé ọdún àyàbọ̀ níbikíbi tí o lè wà. Ó fẹ́ jíjẹ ó fẹ́ mímu. Àgàgà tó bá tún wá fàdìyẹ. Ó ṣe kọ́kẹ́rẹ́ bó jẹ́ boilers ni. Full grown healthy. Happy James ni ẹ máa bọ̀. Ìyá Gbénga ọdún yóò yẹ.
Dádì Máyọ̀wá ó yẹ̀ tì nígbà tí mo ti ní Happy James Farm ní ohun gbogbo ti di ìrọ̀rùn.
Happy James Farm gbé báwo.
Ní Happy James Farm ohun gbogbo ìrọ̀rùn ló bá dé. Ṣé adìyẹ lẹ́yìn fẹ́ ni cockerel tàbí boilers tí ó tóbi tó dẹ̀ ní àlàáfíà. Ohun èlò ọbẹ̀ lóríṣiríṣi tòmátò tó pọ́n ròdòròdò tàtàṣé tó rẹ̀ dòdò ṣọ̀m̀bọ̀ tó yọmọ ṣọ̀bọ̀lọ̀ ẹja àrọ̀ tútù àti gbígbẹ fresh from farm no preservation rárá.
Mo gbádùn ẹ.
Bákan náà adìyẹ yíyan àti sísun lóríṣiríṣi fún àwọn ilé olóúnjẹ ìgbàlódé ńláńlá àti kéréje ìyẹn restaurant ní Happy James Farm. Àwọn ẹyin adìyẹ tó tóbi bọ̀ǹkùbọ̀ǹkù fún gbogbo àwọn aláràtúntà àti àwọn tó bá fẹ́ ra ẹyọ ìyẹn ní crate. Àyè tí wọ́n láti jẹ́ alágbàtà wọn. Ẹ̀pà kaṣú wọn rẹwà ó tóbi ó sì dára lẹ́nu ó ń ṣara lóore pẹ̀lú. Happy James Farm wọ́n ta ohun mímu lóríṣiríṣi wọ́n tún ní iléeṣẹ́ bakery ìgbàlódé.
Ṣé lóòótọ́ báwo ni mo ṣe lè rí wọn.
Wọ́n wà lọ́ṣun wọ́n wà ní Ìbàdàn wọ́n ṣe home delivery pẹ̀lú níbikíbi tí ẹ bá wà wọ́n gbé gbogbo tí ẹ bá fẹ́ wá fún yín. Olú-iléeṣẹ́ wọn wà ní.
Onírèké village along Ogúnṣẹ́ off Ìwé-Ìkirè Ìrèwọlé local government beside Ọ̀ṣun State University.
Tàbí kẹ́ kàn sí wọn lórí ẹ̀rọ ayélujára sales@happyjamesfarm.com tàbí kẹ́ pè wọ́n sí ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ yìí.
08140097878 àti 0708-138-6770 pẹ̀lú 0701-766-6010.
Happy James Farms ọdún yóò yẹ.
Tí ó ní ọ́ nínú àgbọ̀ láǹfọ̀rọ̀ nínú ògo.
Èyí ni àwọn ohun tí a kọ̀wé rẹ̀, àwa sì jẹ́rìí rẹ̀, a sì mọ̀ pé òtítọ́ ni ẹ̀rí rẹ̀.
This is an opportunity for you to visit Israel, Jordan, Mount Nebo in Jordan, on the ground where God spoke to Moses, showing him the promised land. May God lead us all there, and the Holy Land of Jerusalem, with Holy Trinity Family Chapel, UK.
Àǹfààní ńlá rèé fún gbogbo ènìyàn láti bá àwọn ènìyàn Ọlọ́run rìnrìn àjò sí ilẹ̀ mímọ́ Jerusalem láti jẹ́rìí àti láti gbàdúrà ní àwọn ibi tá a ti kà nínú Bíbélì nípa Jésù Kristi àti àwọn wòlíì ìgbàanì. Ìrìn àjò mímọ́ fún odidi ọjọ́ 10 gbáko ipò Jerusalem, Bethlehem àti Jọ́dánì.
10 days visitation, help your ojú ara yín rí àfonífojì Ela, níbi tí David ti borí Goliath, orí òkè Cameli, òkun Galilee, Cana níbi tí Jésù ti sọ omi di wine, odò Jordan níbi tí Jòhánù ti ṣe ìrìbọmi fún Jésù, ilé Joseph àti Maria ní Nazareth, Jericho, òkun pupa Dead Sea àti ọgbà Gethsemane níbi tí Jésù ti gbàdúrà.
Ibojì Lásárù, ibojì ọba Dáfídì ní Jerusalem. Ilé tí Jésù pẹ̀lú àwọn ọmọ ẹ̀yìn rẹ̀ ti jẹ oúnjẹ alẹ́ Olúwa, yàrá òkè ti Pentecost àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ.
Holy Trinity Family Chapel, UK, Albert Basin, South Docklands, London, E162QY, via Royal Albert Road, Lydian Reach Roundabout, Oṣù Kẹjọ ọdún 2020. Lágbèrè àrìnàjò ilẹ̀ mímọ́ Jerusalem, the 8th month, August 2020. Bí ẹ bá fẹ́ mọ̀ sí, ẹ pè Captain Mother Hassan, sorry, 078-72-137-953. You can also call Pastor Kumuyi on 079-846-34898 or email us v.hassan@hotmail.uk.
Jerusalem, ìlú mímọ́ ni, àwùjọ débẹ̀ ni.
Tí ó ní ọ́ nínú